Astrology has been practiced since the earliest days of human civilization, with its roots in ancient Sumeria, Babylonia, and Greece. There is evidence of it evolving alongside astronomy. It was Ptolemy who played a pivotal role in shaping modern Western astrology through his influential writings, building upon the foundations laid by Babylonian astrology. In ancient Sumeria, priests held a unique role as intermediaries between humanity and the celestial gods. Over time, a temple system evolved. Special attention was dedicated to celestial events, which were believed to foreshadow significant disasters. When a priest received accolades for accurately predicting an event, such as an eclipse, they often embellished their forecasts with the addition of scenarios involving famines, plagues, and inundations. The primary objective of early priests was to ensure their ability to predict these essential events, which in turn safeguarded their authority and influence. To help achieve this further, a rudimentary calendar was developed. The year was divided into 12 periods, aligning with the approximate 12 annual lunar cycles. How do the signs come into play? Astrological priests aim to identify stars and star patterns in the night sky, using them as reference points to mark the seasons and track the movements of wandering stars. Initially, the names for the signs were of Babylonian origin, but later evolved into their Greek counterparts, which were subsequently translated into Latin when the Romans rose to prominence as the dominant power in the world. The commencement of spring was marked by the sun's appearance in the constellation Aries, and everything was timed and organized based on this pivotal point in the annual cycle. There are 12 signs divided into 4 elements: fire, earth, air, and water. They are also divided into genders such as masculine and feminine. Fire includes Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Air includes Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. These are the masculine signs. Earth includes Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Water includes Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. These are feminine signs. But why are some masculine and feminine, and why are the 4 elements included? Well, the concept is essentially opposites. It's kind of like yin and yang, positive and negative, hot and cold, dry and wet, etc. Even though each gender and each element all occur in every season. For example, the first sign is Aries, it's fire. The second, Taurus, it is earth. The third is Gemini, that is air. The fourth is Cancer, it is water. Then, the cycle starts all over again, with the 5th sign Leo being fire, the 6th sign Virgo being earth, and so on and so forth. Why not have feminine signs occur mainly in spring and fall, or masculine in summer and winter? The latter have arguably more dominance about them concerning weather. Why is Aries, the star of the zodiac, not a feminine sign? Spring is, after all, the rebirth of nature, which would arguably be a feminine trait, not a masculine one. And the start of spring certainly has nothing to do with fire, quite the opposite. You can start to see how the whole meaning of astrology is subjective. Now we will talk about the very horoscopic part about astrology, the houses or places. This is how your birth chart is constructed, based upon the location and time of birth where the signs and planets are in the sky. Additionally, is how daily horoscopes are constructed. The 12 places are 12 sections in the sky and underneath the horizon. Here's what I gathered from a few different sources about what each house means. Why have astrologers decided to come up with this? According to Roger Beck in Brief History of Astrology, the further you go up into the heavens, the more heavenly the houses are. while underground or lower midheaven are the more earthly associated houses. Each birth chart includes where planets are located in the sky during time of your birth, from the Sun and Moon to Mercury through Pluto. Each of these planets give you additional signs to your inventory. For example, the Moon deals with emotions, so your Moon sign would indicate that your emotional self is like that particular sign. What's interesting though is that originally Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto were not included in traditional astrology because early astrologers did not know about them. And Pluto is considered a dwarf planet. But did you know there are at least 5 dwarf planets? Pluto, Aries, Ceres, Makemake, and Haumea. And some estimates include up to 200 dwarf planets in the Kuiper Belt. Is astrology going to account for these now too? And now let's talk about the concept of retrograde. It originally had to do with the optical illusion of a planet moving backwards. Planets don't move backwards, they move in one direction while orbiting the Sun. If anyone tries to talk about how Mercury is in retrograde, they're talking about an optical illusion, and they're fundamentally wrong about any effects it may have, and is insulting to basic astronomy. And then there's the precession of the equinoxes problem. This leads to a slow and gradual shift in the orientation of Earth's axis, causing the position of the celestial equator and the zodiac signs to change over time. Because of this reason, many people who are one sign are actually another. Western astrologists will say the actual constellations don't matter, but rather the start of the seasons. But then why use this system at all? There are a few astrological systems out there that tend to be based on visible constellations in the sky, and a few even include a 13th sign. If you're going to pretend that the actual constellations are the drive behind the system, why even call them the constellation names? Why not use numbers or other names? Here's an AI-generated signs list with their own descriptions and traits. Why are these signs any less valid than any other astrological system? What about the randomness of the 12 houses? Many of them overlap. For example, 1 and 10 both have ideas about how you present yourself to the world. 2 and 8 both have ideas about financials. 3, 4, 7, and 11 all have ideas about relationships. And my final criticism is that astrology is inherently prejudiced, and it completely ignores any sort of trauma or lack thereof which may contribute to someone's personality. It ignores the economic class, local and national culture, religion, or country someone was born into. It ignores any diseases or complications of pregnancy, like fetal alcohol syndrome. And it ignores mostly mental illness. There are similar criticisms that are given by Cicero, a famous Roman writer from around 1st century BC. They are as follows. Weather has a big effect on man, but it is ignored by astrologers, who consider only some subtle, imperceptible, well-nigh inconceivable force which is due to the condition of the sky. As for time, twins. The fact that men who are born at the very same instant are unlike in character, career, and in destiny makes it very clear that the time of birth has nothing to do with determining man's course in life. In 216 BC, in southeastern Italy, Hannibal had massacred an army of 70,000 Romans. Every family in Rome was in mourning. Did all the Romans who fell have the same horoscope? Yet all had one and the same end. Were all the men eminent for intellect and genius born under the same star? Was there ever a day when countless numbers were not born? And yet there was never another Homer. What stupendous power delusion has. And so to conclude, astrology is an ancient art form that originally branched off from astronomy. Ancient Mesopotamian priests used it as a way to validate their position and authority in early society. The symbolism and meaning by astrological signs and houses is totally meaningless, and which is not scientifically tested. Planets in retrograde are just normal elliptical orbits of the sun, and the appearance of retrograde is an optical illusion. Astrology is prejudiced and completely ignores any sort of economic class, cultural differences, country of birth, mental illness, or medical condition. Western astrology completely ignores precession of equinoxes, despite clinging on to constellation names. And modern astrology uses planets which weren't traditionally used in old traditions, such as Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. But why doesn't it use more dwarf planets? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel and follow me on social media.